Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 11 of our F222 Teo Porcher career mode. And quickly, before we dive into this one, I just want to apologise for the fact that last week's videos had no webcam on them. We've had quite a lot of issues, for whatever reason again, with my webcam in the last couple of weeks. I think just where I was trying to get so many videos out, of course, over the festive period, meant that, yeah, unfortunately my PC struggled on a couple of occasions there. So I'm using this video as a bit of a test run. I'm hoping to try and record my camera now in a different way that should make it a bit more reliable. Windows just is having fun, I think, at the moment as well there. But thank you all as well, of course, for the continued support on the channel as well. Of course, 2023 now right around the corner. Tomorrow, in fact, if my maths hasn't failed me. I'm still, like I said, trying to get videos out a little bit in advance. But looking towards this weekend, though, for the Belgian Grand Prix, 9 points, the gap between ourselves and Felipe Drugovich as we head into the Belgian GP weekend. 4 rounds, 8 races to go of this campaign, and even Jack Doohan now is starting, maybe, just maybe, to reel himself in to the championship battle as well. We'll wait and see as to how the Australian gets on, but let's do this thing then. Belgian Grand Prix, my favourite track in Formula 1. Fingers crossed we can try and finally get our second pole position of the year. Right, well, here we are then, ready for one-shot qualifying here from Spa-Francorchamps, and looks like we could see changeable conditions in both the sprint and the main event this weekend, so we're going to have to be careful for that as the weekend unfolds. That might mean we just need to compromise our downforce levels ever so slightly if we want to have a quick car in both sets of conditions. Of course, this is Spa. You know, you do come here to expect the unexpected as well, of course. But, yeah, just need to try and make sure we get a good setup on. We need high ride heights, of course, around this venue as well to make it up through our roofs. These Formula 2 cars do have a bit of a tendency to bottle out. But let's get into it then. One-shot qualifying, and immediately it's going to start me right on the red line, which is always handy. Going to be mighty close then as we head out of the final corner. Is it going to be pole position? Yes, it is. It must have been hundreds in it between ourselves and Jack Doohan, but finally we get our second pole of the year there. Absolutely get in there. I will take that and run to the bank with it.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are
Porcher, Doohan and Jan Daruvalo.
It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the feature race gets itself underway.
We go then, pole position by just 17 thousandths of a second over Jack Doohan there. Jan Daruvalo P3 ahead of Richard Verschoor, but Felipe Drugovich, he'll start from reverse grid pole. But he's down in P10, ready for the main event tomorrow there, so maybe just a couple of cracks starting to form in Jehan Ruvela's pretty impeccable record so far this year there. Both of our teammates absolutely nowhere once again. Of course, we have got a mighty feisty Constructors' Championship battle going on. Of course, the gap there as well, just 9 points, but 11 points now the gap in the Constructors. In the Drivers' Championship. Drugovic cannot take the lead away from us, no matter what happens today, unless he wins and gets fastest lap, which might be doable. Let's get into it though. Sprint race here from Belgium.
Located in the Ardennes countryside, Spa has been hosting races for almost a century, and it's revered by drivers and fans alike. So it's a joy to be here today, as we prepare for the next thrilling instalment of the Formula 2 race calendar. So Spa is normally a very fast track, but in these conditions, we should probably temper our expectations a little. This track, located in the sprawling Ardennes countryside, features 9 rights and 10 lefts for a grand total of 19 corners and a lap distance of 4.3 miles. I'm joined by a man who's had many a wet race, Davide Valsecchi. Just how challenging will these conditions be out there on track?
Delighted to be here, Alex. Even in this weather, nothing will be easy for them. We may have standing water, which means visibility will be a worry. They just need to stay clear of the white lines and curbs. That can cause you a real problem when it's so slippery.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well here we are then, trackside for the Belgian Grand Prix, and this is gonna be a wet to dry race then here from Belgium. Of course, as I've mentioned before, for those of you that aren't aware, you don't get intermediate tyres in F2. It's just full wet or dry, so this could be quite a big step into the unknown. I don't think we've had a race like this so far this season. Sorry, I just went to check my camera was still working and I panicked just for one moment. But yeah, this is going to be a big step into the unknown today then. First proper wet to dry race on F2 22, and especially in a sprint race as well. We don't ever pit normally, of course, in these races, but today it's looking like a probability, not a possibility.
Okay, I think the track's going to be drying out quite soon. Be careful you don't burn out your tyres.
Well, the team already worry them that the track's going to start drying out quite soon. Of course, I forgot as well just how long the formation lap is around Belgium. What are they saying? 5 minutes in Formula 2 is like 2 laps around Belgium. This is going to get quite crazy then, so it's all going to be about trying to make sure you're boxing at the right time in this GP, but I know how much we can struggle in the rain as well in these Formula 2 cars. It's just the way the force feedback works on them on Fanatec direct drive. They tend to go a little bit light and then incredibly heavy, and it's a bit unpredictable on occasions. But round in the final couple of corners then, ready to line up on the grid here for the start. Just wanted to try and test how much we can try and boot the throttle. Apparently still quite a lot there is Jehan Ruvela just in front of me, but make sure we just get the car slowed down. There we go, purple on the lineup as we wait for Fred Vesti, our teammate, at the rear of the field. But let's do this thing then. Belgian Grand Prix, Spa-Francorchamps. Hopefully we can try and move forward today. There's big potential for some high-risk, high-reward strategies here. 5 red lights then on the grid. Very long hold, but it is finally lights out and away we go. And look at that immediately. Jack Doohan not getting the best start in the world there, but we have to short shift out of it as we head up in towards the first corner. We've got someone else having a look down the inside as we head through the source then to kickstart this race. And that's Dennis Hauger making big moves off the start there. So looks like Hauger's gained 2 places from it. Doohan's lost 2. And I've won nothing, lost nothing as we head down in towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Whoa, big lift there as everyone just trying to be super careful through those first couple of turns. Of course, we are running a lot higher aero, I feel, than most of the field, as Jack Doohan is immediately going to try and prove that. Can't quite put alongside us though. In the Yuma Owasa going to tuck into the slipstream as well as we head up the end, whoa, of the straight there. Horrible front lock-in as we try and get the car tipped in. We're going to lose even more places, try to get back on the road without gaining too much of an advantage. And I think Yuri Vips just jumped out of the way. Emil's looking at Owasa, trying to get a run on Doohan as we head down the hill. Going to try and keep the nose there. This is aggressive racing by everyone at the start. I just run slightly into the back of Doohan as we try and get the car slowed down. There is Yuri Vips again looking for it. Again, we'll slam the door. Contact between Doohan and Owasa will pull off the move around the outside there. So both myself and Jack Doohan losing places on this opening lap there. Looks like Drugovic has done everything he needed to and still leads at the front of the field, but this is so tricky trying to work out what the grip's like on this opening lap. You know, we're all just kind of guessing our way around this circuit at the moment, and we know how unpredictable Spa-Francorchamps can be as we head down through the final sector, or in towards the final sector of this opening lap. These have got to be some of the longest laps you'll ever see on F1 22. Spa, wet weather, Formula 2 cars. I don't think you can name a combo. But yeah, makes for much longer lap times here. We're almost at 2 minutes, and we're barely into the final sector of the opening lap there. We've got Yuri Vip still trying to apply a bit of pressure behind me. Hasn't been able to find a way around me so far. This lap has certainly tried on more than one occasion, as that is not the line up through Blanchemont. That might leave us vulnerable to Vips once again, as he tries to have a look around the outside. He actually tags me, so we have to accidentally send it to the inside of Jack Doohan there. Here comes Vips as well through the final corner. It's like touring cars on this opening lap there, but Drugovic still leads the way with a 2:15 lap time. I'm on a 2:21 to finish the first lap of this race, but we have survived. Now we've got to try and look forward rather than defending from cars behind, but still trying to find the limits of grip and adhesion. I mean, depending on how quickly the track dries up, we might just never get to a point where the dry tyres are worth it, because of course if you've got any standing water at all, the dry tyres are just not going to work, of course, because they've got nowhere for the water to go. You will just lock up and be pretty much on a one-way ticket into a gravel track or an Armco barrier around this circuit. It's still just losing a bit of ground to Jack Doohan early on. I feel like we are building up the confidence, though. The AI, of course, they can just go out and instantly find grip. They know what's going on. I, being a human, I'm prone to make mistakes a bit more. I know the AI can make mistakes on F1 22, but even they're programmed in. So, speaking of which, Dennis Hauger immediately just a bit of a lock-up down at the final corner. Yuri Vip still trying to fill my mirrors to try and get a run at the final corner there. Jack Doohan, I think, just aware of us behind him. He knows how much we dive, as we'll have a look up the inside of Jack Doohan in towards someone, and that's going to be another famous Teo Porcher dive bomb in this F2 career mode. Team want us to box already. Don't really feel like that's going to be necessary. I can't imagine the wet tyres are going to be particularly warm. Yeah, they want me to box on 13% tyres. That makes sense. As I keep bottoming out through the bottom of Eau Rouge, and that's really hindering us. This team reckon we're going to be back on a dry track soon. There's Jack Doohan again. Just tries to pull out the slipstream, but he does it far too late. Here comes Yuri Vips. Can we try and spot our braking point this time round, though? Only just into the next couple of turns at Les Combes. Oh, wow, we have got cars boxing in then at the end of lap 3. What on earth is going on here at Spa? Why do the AI believe they need to pit off the wet? Well, they're surely going to be staying on wet tyres. There's no way. Is this track dry enough for dries? But is that a glitch? Are we potentially going to get penalised towards the end of this race? I've got no idea what's happening here at Spa. And are we going to see even more cars in at the end of this lap? Could we accidentally been given a race victory here, as still that bump at the bottom of Eau Rouge is really costing me time every lap. Here we go, team saying new strat. Surely they don't reckon soft tyres at the end of lap 5 is going to be the way to go. Track is nowhere near dry enough yet. The rain has completely stopped, but look at the spray still being kicked up by Yumo Awasa. Could we start seeing some big gambles, though, in this race? I don't believe anyone that's pit already has gone onto dry, sorry. This is only the kind of race you get at Spa. Oh, always at Spa. So are we going to see more cars peel into the pit lane then at the end of the next lap? Yes, we are! Everyone else is coming into the pit lane here. So what on earth is going on in Belgium? Could we now? Surely it's still too wet to be going on to the dry tyres. Surely, I mean, we'll get to find out in just a moment what everyone's doing. But Fred Vesti as well, of course, into the pit lane. We are the only car yet to box, and they are. They're all going on to softs then. So Felipe Drugovic has moved over onto a set of soft compound tyres. I think he might... No, I don't think he has lost places. Surely the track's not dry enough yet to be making the call. I mean, we'll get confirmation in just a moment. Jembolek Bassi, he boxed, but he boxed onto wet. So I have no idea what on earth is happening in this race, but we're going to have to monitor the gap to Drugovic. I mean, surely even if we just pull out a couple of seconds this lap, it's going to be game over for him. But now they're saying that dries might be the way to go. Is it worth boxing this time round? I mean, we're still pulling away from Drugovic. If the gap's over 22, by the end of this lap. It's not worth pitting. If it's staying level, then we've absolutely got to dive it in. There's a handful of cars that have had to box twice in 2 laps. So I'm just looking at the mini-map. For a 9-lap race, only Spa could deliver this. I know I keep saying it, but this place is full of magic. But yeah, Drugovich is actually closing in on me on those dry compound tyres, sorry. So we are definitely going to have to peel into the pit lane at the end of this lap, but we're still going purple at the moment. So this is all really, really weird. I don't think we're going to lose out on much by staying out just 1 extra, because of course I think we have still got a few cars lingering around that are on the full wets as well. But why on earth did anyone box at the end of lap 3? And if they did, surely they've lost out time if they went over onto dry compound tyres. But I think this is the first time we've had to pit in a sprint race in this F2 22 career mode, as we head now down into the pits. Make sure we get the car slowed down before we get to the 37-mile-an-hour mark there. And yeah, Drugovich has taken a good second out of me on this lap there. Of course, we are going to have fresher tyres to the end, but it's 4 laps. It's not really going to make much difference as we peel down into our pit box. And look at that, Jem Bollock-Bass is staying out. Why is Jem staying out in this race? Let me go. He set new fastest lap. He's not under that much pressure still from Drugovich. Surely he's just trying the impossible here, as Hauger's doing the same. What a weird race this is turning into very, very quickly here. And I think Hauger might have caused a bit of a train that might allow us to come out in front of a few more cars there. As there goes Jay and Aruvula. And look at that, we've jumped up now into P5 of this race there, as Hauger is trying to cause an almighty train. Hopefully Chem can do the same up the road. We could still, you know, if he compromises Drugovich enough, we could still win this. I mean, a podium is definitely on the cards. We can get close to Aruvula, and surely Bollock-Bass is going to be losing time there, as DRS has now been enabled. What a bizarre race. As now looking on the mini-map, it looks like Drugovich is practically pushing Jem Bollock-Bass around the circuit at the moment. What a strong start to the year it was from Jem, but really just has been nowhere in more recent races. You can see we're already taking time hand over fist at Jay and Aruvula there. Of course, the higher downforce still working wonders on this slippery conditions circuit, but Sato now has closed in on the pair of them as well. Is Jem Bollock-Bass going to box? Surely he's just going to get jumped with the DRS anyway if he decides to stay out here, so it's really kind of damned if he doesn't, damned if he does at this stage of the race. Are we going to see Bollock-Bass into the pit lane? No! Jem's staying out again then, so he, I think, is trying to make it through to the checkered flag, but you can already see on the on the top right-hand side of your screens there, Sato lost about 3/10 just through the final chicane. Surely if they can't get around him, they're going to be absolutely losing bags of time each lap, worse than the last there. As Awasa now trying to make moves on Hauger, but Hauger doesn't want to give it up. Well, surely he'll have to. He can't really do anything, but this is just anarchy, as we're now going to try. Look at the grip we've got over Daruvula with the downforce up through Rouge and Radion. Surely we're going to be able to continue closing in there, as somehow still Drugovich can't get past Jem. What? Why? I mean, I'm not really sure what Jem Bollock-Bass is thinking there, as now up the inside goes Drugovich in through Puon, and surely he's been able to pull off that move. But yeah, I mean, look at the amount of time we've taken out of these guys in just a lap already. 2 seconds the gap has come down to Sato and Drugovich there, as now Drugovich has snuck by. Sato's going to lose even more as we head through the Fanyas chicane, if I remember correctly. Look at that, 3 seconds now. The gap's come down on this lap. Jay and Aruvula has got the bit between his teeth as well, as Drugovich might just have got past him early enough here that he might not be under too much pressure from Sato late on in the day. And Sato might be under increasing pressure from Daruvula, and as that is not the line through Blanchimont. That was scary. Big wobble there, as now Sato around the outside of Jem. Surely he's going to be able to pull off this one, but I tell you what, those full wet tyres are not handling as badly as I think any of us would expect them to be. Drugovich 2-minute flat. We go straight into the 158s there, as still you can see Sato now pulling off the move on the, not Trident car, Charoux's car, of course, sorry. But even then, for Jem, it's not a bad gamble. I mean, he was way down the order, wasn't he, if I'm not mistaken, after qualifying, so it doesn't really make much difference for him. So, Daruvula, again, really slow up for a Rouge Romani on the AI. Still having to be way more careful over that bump than I am, but immediately we're going to be able to pull to the inside of Jay and Daruvula. Here goes Bollock-Bass, though, to the inside of Sato. Less than 2 laps to go, and he's pulled it off. How on earth as Bollock Bassi got the confidence to do that there as we move past Jay and Arugula. And look at how slow they're going. Surely, if we can get a run on Sato, we can move past Chem as well. As you can just see they're trying to defend for all his worth around the outside of Sato. You know what, we'll get around the outside of both of them in one go. No, we won't. Where is he finding that grip on those full wet tyres? I mean, they're not bad, but I didn't expect them to be this good in this race. Is it up the inside of Sato still? Gonna have to take a lot of curb there. Big risk as we'll squeeze him out through Puon. I'm amazed. I'm genuinely amazed that Jem Bollock Bassi is able to do what he's doing at the moment. Surely we can have a look around the outside though as we head through the Fania chicane. He has to give me the room. He's going to give me a big old squeeze there. The hand of rage comes up from Jem, but you're on the wrong tyres, mate. So I'm absolutely having that, as that was a lot of curb through the next couple of turns. But Drogovic now 5 seconds clear up the road again, so we've all lost a lot of time trying to get around Bollock Bassi, but he might still hang on for a podium here. Sato cannot find a way around him. Drogovic, new fastest lap of the day then to start the final lap there. We're going to be a long way off, but you never know. Those bonus points could be absolutely critical here, so we are going to try and push on this final lap of this race there. But will Jem Bollock Bassi be able to do the impossible? Surely now he's going to be vulnerable up for a Rouge and Radion because he's outside the DRS range from myself. But Drogovic and I, after the nightmare that was last weekend, somehow once again we're going to find ourselves top 2 in yet another GP here, and I'm pretty certain it is going to come down to fastest lap. There is Jack Doohan, a nightmare start to the race weekend for him, but a 58.5. I mean, he won't be able to get the bonus point, he won't be entitled to it, but we go purple through this first sector there. It is all about trying to keep outscoring Drogovic, or at least trying to minimise the damage to him, as Sato has now finally pulled off the move on Jem behind us. But we're basically doing a qualifying lap here on the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix as we head down the hill, trying to just open up the circuit as best as possible. I love Spa anyway, but it is so much fun in these Formula 2 cars. You really do just feel like they're hanging on to the limits of grip throughout a lot of the corners, and still the high downforce setup was certainly the way to go here on Saturday. Might compromise us a bit on Sunday, because of course we've been racing on a slightly damp circuit throughout a lot of this race, but as long as we don't do anything stupid through these final few corners there, just attack the curbing nicely, run the car nicely off the turns as well, out of Savolo. McGreen in Sector 2. The gap to Drogovic has come down a fair bit over the course of this lap, but surely you'd expect him just to be able to pull away a little bit. I think, though, because of the higher front wing, Puon is, Blanchimont even, is completely flat for us, and it certainly isn't for a lot of the AI there. Breaking down in towards the final couple of turns, though. Will Drogovic be able to go even faster at the front? Just about to get confirmation. No, he's going to slow down up to the line, and we will come through for P2.
Great work, well done. We're really happy with the podium here, well done.
Well then, that concludes another excellent race. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Although the Formula 2 cars are all the same spec, the winner just looked better out there. It would have been a combination of getting those tires up to running temperature faster and driving to the condition of track. They made it look easy out there today.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the MP Motorsport team, and I'm very happy to see them up there on the top step of the podium. And now, let's take a look at the driver's standings. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
My driver of the day was Théo Pourchaire. He did a cracking job moving through the field. Just a very good race.
And now a look at the team standings. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Belgian GP sprint race, and Felipe Drugovich does take home the win, but we were only 1.8 seconds back there come the checkered flag. I think he slowed down on the final lap for whatever reason there. So we did take fastest lap as well, with a 1:57.9. That felt like a really, really good lap at the end of the race there. Sato P3 ahead of Daruvala. Jem Bollock Bassi, he did actually start towards the front, so I apologise to him for that. Richard Verschoor, Ayumu Iwasa, and Yuri Vips rounds out our point scorers there. Dennis Hauger couldn't quite hang on towards the end of the race, and you can see all those cars that were still on full wets towards the end there, and just that gaggle right at the rear of the field that had to make the two stop. Never will we probably get a race like that on F122 again, but it does mean championship-wise, our gap at the top opens up to 10 points over Drugovich, and we are starting a lot further up the roster tomorrow than our Brazilian rival there. Daruvala jumps Armstrong, Richard Verschoor jumps Dennis Hauger, and no other movers towards the rear of the field. Teams-wise, the gap's still just 8 points between ourselves and MP Motorsport there, but Virtuosi are even closer in that championship. I hadn't even noticed that one, so maybe you and I, Virtuosi, they've actually got two drivers that can deliver against basically what is myself versus Drugovich in ART versus MP Motorsport. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back tomorrow ready for the feature race in F2, and I'm really hoping my webcam has worked as well. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.